So for our listeners who haven't heard you before, how would you describe your band and your sound in a couple of words?
Loud, swinging, slightly aggressive.
Nice, I like that. So you're currently on a short run of dates with OC45. How has that been going in general for you?
Great. It's always nice to be out on the road with a band that you're also friends with. It just makes the environment of the show that much more fun, and all the goofing around. It helps. The thing about being on tour is there's a lot of hurrying up and waiting to play. So having time to goof around with friends and stuff like that just makes the shows kind of that much smoother, I guess.
It makes it more of just enjoyable all the time. Yeah. So you guys as a band tour relentlessly. What are 3 must-have items that you aside from your instruments and all that you have to have with you on the road?
Well, I have to have my vest, and I forgot that for this week of shows that we're doing. Forgot that hanging by my front door. So that's always, like, I have a checklist, like, don't forget your vest. And then I have a bathroom bag, like shower, shaving stuff, necessities. I have that. So that's the vest. That, and the third most important thing would be, the vest, the shower stuff, and my pants. I remember my pants.
That's a good thing to bring. Yeah.
Because otherwise, everything else I could pretty much just conjure up along the travels if I need to. But my show pants, my vest, and my travel bag.
All right. So it's been going okay without the vest.
You
haven't cursed yourself.
I feel like I'm slightly naked, but I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay. You're getting through. Earlier this month, you guys played the Ink and Iron Festival in Tennessee. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it was. We've been doing the Ink and Iron Fest for quite a few years now, but they've always been in Long Beach, California. This was their first time bringing the festival out to Nashville. It didn't translate so well with what they thought the size of the show was going to be in Long Beach, and they brought that massive scale over to Nashville, and it pretty much flopped. But the idea was all in the right place as far as I'm concerned with the style of acts that they were bringing through. It's just that the people were not responsive to it. We had a good time, and we had a really good crowd, so I can't talk too bad about the weekend. It was everyone that was there for us. We were happy to see them, and it helped us have a great time. So, all in all, for me, Ink and Iron was great, but I can see where, just judging by the very, very low attendance and some of the other bands that had to have very low attendance in front of them, it was kind of a bummer.
Yeah. What would you say, either on this current tour or just in general, what is your favorite song to play live, or do you have a couple that, like, your go-to song that you perform for someone?
I always like playing V8 Nightmare, just because that was one of the very first songs I ever wrote once I started getting into this style. And then I also like playing Bottle Called. I like doing melodic music, and that's one of our most melodic songs. So when everything is on and the sound is good in the room, it hits that right note for me and it makes me happy.
Yeah. I noticed that you guys print all of your own merchandise. You actually have kind of the side thing of industrious dudes doing that. How did you get into that? Was it kind of out of necessity and just picking up your skills, or?
Yeah, the necessity was that we wanted to knock ourselves down from being out on the road. Doing like 220 shows a year means you're out on the road almost 300 days out of the year. So we wanted to be home more. We're getting a little bit older now, a little bit more mature. We have, we have personal lives back home that require us to be home more. So we're like, uh-oh, what are we going to do? Because if we don't play shows, then we don't meet the bills at the end of the month. Because having a band is like it's basically having a business, and you have dues at the end of every month to pay, whether it's vehicle, well, pretty much just anything you can think of as far as personal bills. And you got to keep the lights on even when you're away from home.
Yeah.
So we're like, what are we going to do? And one thing we've always been good at with KOFFIN KATS was just merchandising. Like that's what basically kept us afloat over the last decade, was doing well in merch at shows, because the show guarantees weren't always that great, but the merchandise would supplement that. And so we bought a embroidery machine just to start doing our own embroidered patches, because it was cheaper that way. And people started asking us, like, oh, where'd you get the patches from? And we're like, oh, we actually make those patches. So it sparked the idea to get another embroidery machine and start making patches for other bands. And we started with one, and now we're at 4 embroidery machines. Which is, you got it. They're always, when we're home, those things are always running. And so we're like, well, we offer patches. And our drummer, Eric, he took that end, and I was like, well, I guess I'll do the screen printing end. So we found a good used screen printing setup from a shop that was closing down in the Detroit area, and we got all their stuff. And then we opened up our own little kind of KOFFIN KAT Industrious Dudes headquarters. So we practiced there. We were there every day pressing shirts or making patches, and it's cool because we're still working for ourselves, because at this point in the game we've been out of doing day jobs for so long, it would probably kill us to have to go back to punching a time clock.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys are signed to Sailor Grave Records, and your last release was 2013's Born of the Motor. Do you have any new music in the works, anything you can share, or is it just kind of we're
intending on after the new year hitting the studio. We're slowly working on stuff. But yeah, new music at this point is definitely on the top of the list for us to do. And I have some ideas I'm pretty excited about. Kind of taking a step back to the beginning and doing some songs in that style. So.
Cool. So I have 2 more questions to wrap it up.
Yeah.
The first one is kind of like a reverse touring question. So you're from the Detroit area. What would be a must-see location or thing to do in that area for any fans who happen to find themselves in Detroit?
Well, I would say go see the Church of Satan statue that they unveiled there, but from what I understand now, it's not there anymore, and it was actually in the parking lot of where we stayed last night in Salem, Massachusetts, all bundled up. But yeah, I'd say go check that out. That's pretty cool in Detroit. Detroit, it's really springing back to life. There's quite the art scene going on, and there's a lot of great restaurants down there that never used to be there. So, believe it or not, Detroit's becoming a great spot for barbecue. So if you're a fan of barbecue, I recommend checking out Zeke's Rock and Roll Barbecue. It's run by some friends of ours. The Foo Fighters actually just hung out there the other day.
Oh, cool. So. Awesome. All right, and just as like my final question, it's a cliche thing, but what advice do you have for up and coming bands? You've been together as a band for quite a while.
Yeah.
You've gone through a lot.
The first thing that you have to do is figure out who in the band is going to be the business person and who else in the band is going to be a business person, because you can't have just one person against the whole group. You have to find 2 people that can help out and make each other's job easier, because whether you like to think about it or not, being in a band, it takes a lot of organization. It takes a lot of keeping people on the ball and keeping yourself on the ball. And it takes a lot of commitment and sacrifice. So, you have to find the 2 people in the band that are the driving force, and that's what will keep the band going. And you just really have to be willing to throw all of your eggs in the one basket and just plan on breaking a few of them along the way and putting yourself in debt and hoping you come out okay on the other end. I look at it as we've always done everything out of our own pocket, and we're not like the richest people in the world. In fact, we wait every month for that to cash our paychecks, and we live paycheck to paycheck, but we're working for ourselves. So to me, that's like that's making it right there. And if someone like us can do it, I think anybody can. It just really takes commitment.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of hard times. It's like I always try to paint like the worst picture for people when they try to get into music, because it's going to be, the fun times will be there, but there's going to be a lot more shitty times in between. So be prepared for that. If you can stick with it, you got it. So, and just make sure that the chemistry of your band is there too, because if you don't have the chemistry, people are going to see that on stage, and your band will never get off the ground. So.
Definitely. Cool. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have anything else you want to add in?
We're always staying busy. We're not taking a break in any of the shows, even though I talk about being on the road less. You can find our tour dates at www.KOFFINKATSRock.com. That's Koffin Kats with K's. And we're on all the social media stuff, and we put updated flyers and whatever news is going on. We do that, and what you're supposed to use social media for, I guess. So and I just really appreciate you taking the time to do this.